getting out in country New South Wales, well, borderline urban, I suppose, New South Wales. Mark Croatto.
Well said.
I got it right.
Yeah.
People know I can butcher a name. I can butcher the English language at the best
You did
of
well
time. We're here at Goulburn. What do we call this? Goulburn Showgrounds, I suppose, or harness racing
The Goulburn Recreation Area, where the Goulburn Paceway is located.
Which is a harness racing centre here in Goulburn. I was at Crookwell last night. We're about an hour and a bit from from Menangle, or a bit over there.
Hour and a quarter to Menangle from Goulburn.
Yep.
About 2.25 hours. About 2.25 hours from Crookwell.
Yep. Bathurst would be what, 2 hours?
Oh, from here, yeah, 2 hours.
2 hours. Wagga.
2.5.
Yeah. So you're pretty much in the centre of.
Pretty central.
Yeah.
And Canberra, of course, just 45-50 minutes down the road.
And they race there as well, don't they?
Yeah, 18 times a year.
Yeah, trying to learn a few of these places. As I said, I'm just getting out and about. I'm promoting the yearling sales held by Nutrien that are coming up on the February 20 and April 3rd in Melbourne as well. But just try and promote harness racing, which is what I do. And Nutrien and Barastoc, a few of these other people make it possible.
You do a good job, Paul.
This is a beautiful place.
It is. It's probably one of the best kept secrets in the industry, I think.
Yeah.
But it's a really good facility, brand new grandstand, the first of the modern 1,000-metre tracks in New South Wales. Following Goulburn, they built Bathurst and then Wagga, and they're not just 1,000-metre tracks. They're 1,000-metre tracks with the latest science behind them. 10% gradings on the bends, 3% in the straights, transition turns and all that, and
it's
fantastic.
The track is very current, very new, and you've had a few. You're saying a couple of years ago you got flooded and had it wiped out.
Yeah.
But it's a terrific track. They can win from anywhere.
Oh, absolutely. Yep, absolutely. Anywhere. Come from last, lead. There's no real bias. But as you said, we actually, the track was built in about 2005 and only lasted a couple of years, and in 2010 we ended up with a 1 in 100-year flood, and it wiped out the back straight, and thankfully we were able to get insurance money and some money from the Racecourse Development Fund, and for $250,000 we had this track built. Graham Marr come up from Victoria and worked with a local company, Dival's Earth Moving and Bulk Haulage, and the rest is history. Now we've got a fantastic track.
And a current track, a new track where they can run fast. I know they run fast last halves here as well.
Yep.
I've seen that, especially when it's warm and still.
Yeah.
It's a little bit breezy, so I apologise for the wind. It's a unique sort of day. 1 minute the sun's belting in, the next minute it's shady, and the wind picks up. But it's a little bit of the storm weather that we're having in New South Wales at the minute. As I said, the wind, so the wind right on cue just stops, the sun comes out. It's just
exactly
very strange. But history. This place used to be, well, a long time ago, a thoroughbred track. It's one of the oldest tracks in Australia. Yeah,
no, there's a very long history at Goulburn. I think the club itself started off in about 1908. So we're coming up to roughly 120 years. We had a hiatus in the mid to late 80s when the old track, which was only I think just short of 600 metres, had to be was shut down because it wasn't able to accommodate mobile starts and the like, and local council and the Day family and other members of the club at the time got behind to reconstruct the track. Margaret O'Neill, who was the mayor of Goulburn for a long time, she's been a great supporter of the club. She and a bunch of them went up to Queensland. They got the plans of Albion Park, and down they came and they got set to work to re-establish the track. And it took them a while, probably about, at least 15, 17 years. But in about 2005, we ended up with a new track. And like I said, unfortunately got washed out not long after.
It used to race on the thoroughbred track initially.
Yes.
And they moved to a small track, as you said,
Yep.
but actually race the wrong way.
Yeah, we used to race clockwise on the Gallops track, and then in about the 40s they built a small track, the one that was no longer suitable when we got to the 80s. It was under 500 and it was just on the outside of the greyhound track that's there now, and that's how it was.
And that's what changed it. You can actually see you can't see the thoroughbred track but up top, well, where I was, you can actually see there was the track where the trees are and all the rest. And it's so picturesque. And one thing you pointed out to me, there is a red spear over the back straight.
Yep.
One of the oldest breweries in Australia.
In the country, Yep, one of the oldest breweries in Australia. It still operates today, and it's just been bought by a significant company, and they're going to apparently go in to refurbish it completely, and you can't miss it on race day because it's always in the background.
Well, now I know what it is. I'll be definitely looking out for it. One of the most significant things, and if Craig Rail's watching, he'll love what I'm about to put up. But Walla Walla is synonymous for harness racing history. Craig Rail, especially further back, and Walla Walla was his moniker. He still calls it in New Zealand, but I don't think the Kiwis understand exactly what he's talking about.
Yep.
He was from the district, and he's been buried here, and he's been, there's a beautiful tomb here to remember that history.
Yeah, he was. He came from Dalton, which is just west of Goulburn, about half an hour, and he raced a lot at Goulburn. And when he passed, he was buried at the winning post, the old Gallops and Trot winning post. Hence why it's now. His grave is at the wrong end of the straight. We're at the top of the home straight where he's buried, just over our shoulder here. So but he was one of many good horses that come out of the area, and there's been some great horses, obviously Gundary Flyer and Friendly Footman came from Goulburn, but out at Crookwell, you had Nickalong Shadow, and there was another real good mare out there, Century Ann, who got to an Inter-Dominion final. So there's over the years there's been a lot of good horses, and like I said, a lot of history. One of the first studs in Australia was established here, just 10 minutes down the road along Braidwood Road here, and at Springfield. And back in the late 1800s, they stood a stallion called Ajax there, and and whilst he never succeeded as a sire of performers, his broodmares excelled, and that's what he's famous for his broodmares. So a lot of history, and a great place on the southern tablelands of New South Wales.
Race 10 times a year. Yep. You'd like to race more?
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't grow if you don't get more race meetings. You've got to be able to give your sponsors a better deal. We're lucky we've got some great sponsors, but whatever we can do to help them through more exposure is what we would like to do.
Well,
so
I think
clearly more meetings is always for every club's desire, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Your cup meeting, when's that?
Normally would be this month, but due to COVID we made the decision. It was a hard decision, but we made the decision not to burden our sponsors with money, handing over money. Some of our businesses have really struggled through COVID, so some of our sponsors, I should say, really struggled through COVID. So we just decided for this year we'll set it aside and hopefully buy some goodwill and get back into it next financial year. But normally we'd run our Goulburn Cup this Sunday.
This Sunday coming? Yeah. It would have been nice if I was here for that. It would have been,
wouldn't it?
Would have worked out even better. Training facilities, we're actually going to catch up with someone in a second in relation. Who we're going to catch up with?
Yeah, Brad Hewitt.
Brad Hewitt, yeah. How many, you said there before, there's about 100 horses trained?
About 100 horses are trained on the track in the area. We've got there's seven trainers here on track itself.
Yep.
But there's about 25 when you take in the immediate surrounding area. But the Hewitt family have set up here, and of course, it's the stronghold of the Day family, who by the same instance came from Crookwell, just like the Hewitts. Crookwell's got some great history, harness racing history, and Frank Day moved the family from Crookwell to Goulburn and set up quite a successful stable. Like I said, great horses, Gundary Flyer, Friendly Footman, and then probably one of my favourites was Willie Rip, who won derbies and all sorts of races, and he was here in the late 70s. So, great horses. And
throw you under the bus. Did Crookwell ever have a racetrack?
Crookwell's got a showground, and it did race. It used to hold meetings way back. Hasn't. All we've had out there now is just show races, and that's the extent of it. Yeah.
I went for a run this morning. I actually ran around it, and so I was wondering if that's actually where it was.
Each February is the Crookwell show, and unfortunately the last couple of years it's been washed out, or we've been affected by COVID. But it makes for great show racing.
Yeah.
Tight little track, and You know, we have a limit of 5 horses, and it's a lot of fun.
This here for the trainers, they get access to the racetrack, I suppose 24/7 within reason. We've got a greyhound meeting about to start, so they probably have to monitor around that.
Yeah, there's some conditions, you know, like today with a greyhound meeting, they've got to be off the track by 10.
Yep.
But other than that, no. It's
then you've got a 1400 metre training track out the back as well.
1400 metre sand track. There was a swimming pool until the floods washed it away.
Yep.
And the 1000 metre track, as I said. Yeah.
Yep. Is the club looking to entice more trainers to the
absolutely.
Yep.
Yep. If we can get more people down this way, it helps build the local horse population further. And and that's what, you know, all clubs would want to do that, and we're certainly, you know, trying to.
Yeah. What are the main aims for the club? One, I gather to get more meetings, like get more people here, just to be part of the community, I suppose.
Look, at the moment we're really focusing on membership and trying to come up with a better deal for our members. And I mean, my thinking there is that you've got people that are interested. They've got friends, they've got family, the same as the trainers, you know, they've got friends and families. We should be working with the people that we've got their interest already, to grow our sport through their involvement. So at the moment we're looking very much at what we can do for owners, for members, and grow our base like that. And hopefully down the track get more meetings.
It's a brilliant facility, and I've got a picture just of the indoors. One thing I do like what New South Wales have done, you know, and been to a few tracks, and I don't know whether the harness racing track solely built that, but this big glass, totally open area, but ground floor stuff, like not elitist, not back, where people can sit in there and they can see the whole races, and that you guys have got that here.
Yep.
But the biggest plus, what you guys have got, is it's part of a sporting precinct as well. And there's a basketball courts on the other side, which incidentally they're playing indoor hockey. We got asked if we wanted to play. They're a bit short on numbers, but we said
we're not suicidal.
Yeah, we're not silly to that. But there's this great museum that is for the Goulburn and Goulburn area, honouring all the sportsmen. And Neil Day and the Day family, they're front and centre in there. Yeah,
exactly. Sporting Hall of Fame in there. Neil's there for his representation of Australia at the World Driving Championships. So yeah, it's a very proud town, and there's a lot of sporting heroes that have come from it. And that's, like you said, the beauty. We've got a fantastic facility, you know, like it's just basketball stadiums and indoor volleyball, indoor hockey. And there's a number of other users, like there's equestrian out the back. Unfortunately, they've been washed away by the flood as well. Dog obedience, the greyhound racing, which is on today, which races, you know, every week of the year. There's a lot. We all work in well together, and one of the best things is that we've got an incredibly supportive and on-side council that looks after the facility and supports all the users. And from our perspective as a club goes, it makes it incredibly economical being here. You know, we're not burdened by huge costs, maintenance costs and upkeep and the like. We just look after our little bit, but the rest of the facilities are looked after by council. And you know, you've got large areas of lawn, it's green, it's lovely.
So to a lot of people, when I did the interview with Juddy yesterday, and you know, I've got a few other guys in the area I want to catch up with over the journey, but if you are in the area, make sure you call in, especially even just to see the grave of Walla Walla, because he is synonymous for harness racing history. But have a look at this complex. It's a beautiful little complex, and like I say, hopefully you guys can get some more meetings. You know, one a month would be ideal. It's a lot easier for sponsors that you can say to them, well, we've got a meeting in June or May or July, you know, and you can go from there. But even more, pick more of them up there. Any young participants?
Well, you know, the Hewitts and the Days are all Catholic families, so they've got plenty of children, and whilst there's a lapse at the moment, there's a lot of young ones running around.
Well, I was going to say, is any young people looking for somewhere to base themselves as well? But so that is actually good. The fact that there is going to grow in the industry, so that part's good. But if they're looking for stabling and the likes, give you guys a call.
Yeah, definitely give us a call. We can always work something out.
Yeah, try and work them out. You've got Gareth Rattray just out the road, you were saying.
James Rattray.
James
is just up the road. There's a number. Dean Sinoscus is just out here at Gunning, which is 25 minutes west of town. Dennis Picker out at Bigger.
So there's plenty around. Mark, thank you very much. I'm going to go catch up with Brad.
Not a worry, Paul.
And we'll have a quick chat with him, but thank you very much for showing me around. It's
Lovely.
a beautiful complex.
Yeah,
and,
I'm glad you come along, and we're very pleased that you were able to give us a bit of a highlight.
No, well done to you guys. Well done
Good
for
on you.
showing me. It's a beautiful place. Make sure you come
Thank
and
you.
have a look at it. And as I said, thank you very much to Nutrien and Barastoc for making this possible.
Good on you, mate.
Rightio. Now, as part of catching up here at Goulburn, catching up with Brad Hewitt, firstly, famous surname in the area, isn't it?
Yeah, it's sort of grandparents grew up around Crookwell, and it's obviously Bern and Mark and Dad all grew up out there and sort of gone separate ways around the different areas. But yeah, that's where we all grew up around this area.
Mark made light of it that you're a good Catholic family. How many is there in the whole family? Like immediate sort of families?
Yeah, well, I think each sort of sibling had 3 or 4 kids, so there'd be around 20 odd, and then we've all sort of had kids again, so there's kids everywhere.
What about yourself? You swinging hands with anyone, or?
Got wife Millie and got two kids, William and Ruby.
So well, that's all right, keeping the harness dynasty going and the likes. Mate, we're catching up here. One, beautiful complex, absolutely amazing. I got up into the judges' tower up the top and got to see over the track. The facilities you have here are terrific, aren't they?
Yeah, it's a great track. Like everyone that comes here and races, always compliments the track, and it is a great track to work on. And when it's in action, we've got a good 1,200 metre sand track out the back, but it got washed away a few weeks ago, and waiting for it to get repaired. But when it's in full swing, it's a good jogging track too.
And a good environment, like it's just nice and peaceful. Plenty of grass, plenty of open spaces for the horses.
Yeah, like you can get around, there's grass everywhere around here, and it's still a good country environment. You're sort of not like locked up in the city, and strung up what you can do around here, so there's plenty of room and the horses seem to enjoy it.
And you've got the days just over the road, so you've got plenty, well not over the road, over the car park I suppose, but plenty of people to work horses with, plenty of ways of getting horses fit here and know where you're at around the mark.
Yeah, there's always something to work with, and we all get along here, and all use the track and chip in and help each other out. But there's anywhere between sort of 60 and 100 horses at times use the track, so there's plenty of horses about.
It's actually phenomenal because a lot of the tracks, especially in Central Victoria where I'm from, numbers are dwindling, especially on tracks and that. So I think that's a great thing that there is so many here. I think there'll be a lot of club officials will watch this and they'll be going, wow, up to 100 horses being trained. And then rat races are just out the road. There's other people that aren't that far away as well. Yeah,
and I think there'd be more people that would come here if there was a few years ago there was a submission to put more stables in up the Harness Racing New South Wales owned the land up there, but I don't think there was enough submissions. But I'm sure if there was more stables put around here, there'd be more people come here too.
I suggested that to Mark, that any young people want to get out and get a bit of exposure. It's one of the good ways of being able to do it. Yourself, how many are you trained, mate?
I'm not sure at the minute. There's probably a dozen or so here. That there's usually between sort of 22 and 27 horses between me and Dad here.
Yep. Are you trained with Dad?
Yeah, we both train out of here and sort of do it all together.
Yep. Makes it a bit easier, I suppose, having an old head to work with as well.
Yeah, and we sort of, he's had his old clients he's had for a while, and I sort of got my own mates and clients and that, but everything just works well.
The industry's hard, harness racing industry's hard. Everyone says, it's a tough game and all the rest. Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, it gets challenging at times. Like when everything's going good, it's great. But we all know it's not like that all the time. Like 1 minute you can get 3 or 4 winners a week, and then sometimes you can go a month and get one or two. And when you got horses getting crook and things like that, and just things going wrong, and it can get a bit tough. The long hours and long days you put in, and we sort of get here first thing in the morning, get home last thing at night. Like I only see my kids for half an hour a day a lot of the time, and sometimes through the week, like when you're racing 2 or 3 times a week, you don't see them at all and you live in the same house. But it's not always like that, and you've got to put in the hard yards to sort of, if you want to be successful. And when things are going good, just when it's things aren't going your way, it does get a bit tough, but that's just a part of the game we're in.
Best horse you got in work?
Probably Send It would have to be, but we've got a few nice ones. Got Armour Renegade back in yesterday. She's a nice filly. Be looking forward to her getting back to the track. Hope, fingers crossed. And Dad's got Rock and Marty. He's a nice horse, obviously, and yeah, we've got a few nice ones coming up. So hopefully they can do something.
Do you find that part of the challenge, trying to I suppose keep getting nice horses coming through?
Yeah, it's just the getting the owners probably. Like, we've got no big owner behind us. Like a lot of our horses are sort of syndicate based. Like I only got sort of 10% shares and that. They're all just everyday blokes that all got work 9 to 5, sort of got jobs and just like having a bit of an interest in that. But it's hard to sort of keep getting new owners when I don't know, you go to the yearling sales, and if one doesn't happen to go as good, like you sort of lose them. That's why I bought a few of the Kiwis and made syndicates out of that, and then we've gone and bought horses from the yearling sales and had a bit of joy doing that. But yeah,
so keeping the tried race horses there, so you can get the new one, hopefully to get a better horse. But you've got the owners that are happy there while they're waiting for the yearlings to come through.
That's it. Because once they go to the races, and if they got a going horse and they go to the races and they can win 2 or 3 pretty quick, they go, how good's this? And then they're sort of hooked and bitten by the bug then, and then you can keep going to the yearling sales. So that's the only way you're going to get a nice one. Like you don't have to pay a whole lot of money to get a nice horse. And then me and Dad, we both breed a few each year as well, so we sort of have a balance of everything. So we've been lucky enough to have a few of our own horses that have kicked a goal and done a good job. So yeah, we sort of keep on dabbling in the breeding side too.
Which way do you like? Do you like the tried Kiwis or the tried race horses, or do you like the young ones and the option of getting a superstar?
Oh, I love the babies. Yeah, they're always something to look forward to coming through. But in saying that, when you're breaking them all in and doing a heap of that, you look forward to getting on an old just horse that goes around and does everything right, and you don't have to worry about that. And going to the races, it's good to just have a balance of everything. I think you sort of got to have that. Well, I enjoy that anyway.
Do you break your own in?
Yep, yeah, we break them all in and do everything from sort of day one. So yeah, we get a bit of enjoyment out of that too, seeing them develop and come through and seeing what they can turn out to be. Yeah, you get a lot of enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. You only get 10 meetings a year here. I know Mark, they'd like more. Obviously, I would imagine from a young trainer's point of view, to base yourself here, you probably like at least 1 meeting a month, I suppose, but even more would be a little bit handy.
Yeah, it's obviously would be ideal, and again, everyone that comes here says, why aren't we racing here more? Like, you've got a beautiful track, 1,000-metre track here, you've got the sprint lane, everything's sort of here, but yeah, we sort of struggle to get any more meetings. But everyone that comes here loves it. But in saying that, besides the weather for 3 or 4 months of the year can be ordinary, but we're actually located pretty central to everywhere. Like it's only 2.5 hours to Bathurst, 2 hours to Young, 3 hours to Wagga, and then an hour and a half to Menangle. Then we got Canberra an hour down the road. So yeah, geographically we're sort of pretty central to everywhere. We can get it anywhere pretty decent, even to Melbourne. I think I do Shepparton in about 5.5 hours. So when I go down there, it's pretty easy drive to get down there too. So besides the weather, it's a pretty good place to train from. Yeah,
sounds like when you say that, 5 hours to Shep, I've got to drive home, and I'm thinking, and I was like, yeah, no, it is. That's a bit of a flip side. I get a lot of people from Victoria. Don't be scared to look at a Goulburn meeting when it comes onto the radar, because it's the same thing. It's 5 hours from Shep. Like, it's not that far to come, and good track where you can win from anywhere, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it is. It's a really fair track. Like, it's not a latest buys sort of track. Like, I'm not saying they are like but just Bathurst and Wagga seems to be hard to make ground when you're out wide, but it depends on the horses too. But you'll see a lot of the time here, there's a lot of winners that come from back in the field and wide on the turn. It's just I know that I think the straight's a bit shorter as well, but I don't know, that should sort of be better for the leaders and that. But there just seems to be a lot of backmarkers be able to win from here, just how the races are run or whatever reason, but it just seems to happen.
That's actually really, really cool. You going to the yearling sales this year?
Yeah, definitely going to Sydney, and sort of still thinking about going up to Brisbane this year. So just I've wanted to get one up there just because the bonuses and that are good, and I sort of go up each winter, and they got the triad finals and everything on then, so it sort of just makes sense to have one. But whether we can do it with COVID and same thing, just owners and that too, just it's hard to sort of get new owners in, and you don't really know what you're working with and what you can buy until you sort of get it, and you know someone's always keen, but I suppose I have to promote it a bit and see who's interested.
Well, that's what I was going to say. If anyone's watching this and wants to get in touch with you, obviously you're going to be busy at the sale, so make sure you get in touch with him. Brad, thanks very much for giving me 5 minutes, mate. You didn't even know I was coming, so I do really appreciate it, and thanks for giving me a bit of a look around here at the place, but thank you very much.
No worries. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, mate.